Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and today we're here to look at 8 exciting games coming to the Switch in 2023. If you thought last year was stacked, well, buckle up because this year is going to be no different. January is a pretty quiet month gaming-wise usually, but this month, well, we have some big hitters hitting the Switch. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it.
So the first game on the list is Vengeful Guardian Moonrider, which comes out the 12th of January. This game really channels nostalgia to everyone who, well, had a SNES. Even me who didn't have one still got nostalgic by the presentation. It's a 16-bit arcade-style action platformer where you play as the robot ninja Moonrider on your quest to take down the super soldier army built by humans. There's tight platforming sections and even tougher bosses and enemies to defeat. And when you get tired of platforming, there's also some motorbike sections a la old arcade races. Everything is, well, almost staying true to the past. The graphics, sound effects, and just listen to this music. And on the same day, we have the iconic Breakers games coming to Switch in Breakers Collection. These games has gained a cult following upon its release in Japan in 1996. And if you're wondering what is in this Breakers collection, well, it contains the first 2 Breakers games plus some extra content. What you see here is pretty much what you get. Retro 2D fighting like you've seen in Street Fighter 2, but it does a few things its own way. So team up with a buddy and get your slickest combos ready when the game launches the 12th of January. The third game on the list is a game a lot of people are very excited about, and it's Persona 3 Portable. Persona 3 originally released on the PlayStation 2 in 2006, later getting an enhanced version, Persona 3 FES, kinda like Persona 5 Royale. But we're not getting either of those 2 versions on Switch, we're getting the PSP version that came out in 2009. The PSP version is a bit different in multiple ways. For example, you can now play as a male or female, where in previous versions it was only male. And depending on what you pick, it actually changes how the story will play out. It has been newly remastered for modern platforms, and there's tons of quality life improvements like the ability to change difficulty mid-game. You play as the protagonist who's trying to figure out the truth about Dark Hour. And while attacked by shadows in this Dark Hour, your persona awakens. You go to school, make friends, fight monsters, and discover what Dark Hour truly is in classic Persona fashion when it releases January 19th. On the same day, as a lot of you know, Persona 4 Golden is also coming out. Now, this game was originally released on the PlayStation 2 as well, all the way back in 2008. Later, Persona 4 Golden, the version that we're getting, released on PlayStation Vita in 2012. This new version added characters who you can gain social links with, added new cutscenes and story beats, and just refined the already great game that Persona 4 was. It follows a similar gameplay pattern to Persona 3, but is a bit more happy-go-lucky in places. Also, an important thing to keep in mind with these Persona games is that these games are separate, unattached adventures, so you can play them in any order you like. So, if Persona 4 looks more enticing than Persona 3 or Persona 5, you just go with this one. I've also heard that there's a serial killer on the loose and you can jump into TVs. I don't know a lot about this game, but I'm just as eager as you guys to find out what it is when it releases January 19th. And then a day later, on January 20th, we have another big hitter. It's just, the new Fire Emblem game. So it's called Fire Emblem Engage, and to anyone who doesn't know, it's a tactical JRPG. The big new feature this time is that you can summon old heroes with emblem rings, so you can summon the likes of Marth, Ike, and Roy. Yes, I've only played Super Smash Bros. These heroes will sync with your character to make them more powerful. For example, Sigurd will let you traverse much greater distances on the grid map. Also, the weapon triangle makes a grand return, so axe beats lances, lances beat swords, and swords beat axes, though it is a slightly modified version of the system. This game also plays closer to older Fire Emblem games, so less social sim and more turn-based grid battling. Also, the art style, this game looks absolutely fantastic, and as a person who haven't really dwelled into Fire Emblem much, this just looks like an excellent entry point for people who are just intrigued by this series. So check out Fire Emblem Engage when it releases the 20th of January. The 6th game on this list is Risen, coming out the 24th of January. So this is a remaster of an open-world fantasy action RPG game that came out in 2009. Originally, it was only available on Windows and then later coming to Xbox 360 in 2009 and 2010 depending on the region. Now though, for the first time it's coming to other consoles like the PlayStation 4 and, well, Nintendo Switch. There's 60 hours worth of gameplay here, plus tons of side quests, so this is a fairly huge game. Every choice you make in this game has consequences, and who you're controlling to make these decisions? Well, it's an unnamed protagonist, but the game takes place on the island of Faringa, where you're trying to stop mythical creatures that just appears from temples risen from the ground. Are you as intrigued as me when you see gameplay and just the premise of this game? Well, you don't have to wait long, because it comes out the 24th of January. 2 days later, we have a completely different game, that is Oddballers. Coming out the 26th of January, this is a wacky party game where you really embrace the absurdity. You can play 1 to 4 players on a single system and 1 to 6 on local and online play. And these characters that you see here are completely customizable, so when your friends get over, they can make the character that they want to play with. But what kind of minigames are you playing in this game? Well, it's essentially hard-hitting dodgeball, where you use everything to knock your friends out of a circle. But it's not as simple as that. Each environment has more than 20 arenas, and each of these arenas has unique minigames and its own set of rules. One arena might have giant oil barrels that you throw, where another you're on a giant ship trying to avoid obstacles. Either way, you win by being the last one standing, simple as that. So check out this game when it releases the 26th of January. And the last game on the list, coming out the last day of the month, it's Spongebob Squarepants: The Cosmic Shake. This is a spiritual successor to Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated, so if you like that game, well, you're in for a treat. The gameplay is classic style platforming, with some fancy moves that only SpongeBob can pull off. And also, you only play as SpongeBob this time, where before you played as multiple characters, this time they've decided to just focus all their efforts into SpongeBob's weird moves. But you still have Balloon Patrick as a companion for all the banter. So what's the story here? What's the Cosmic Shake? Well, SpongeBob and Patrick get hands on some mermaid tears so they can open portals, definitely without any consequences. You jump around in worlds of cowboys, pirates and knights in cosmic costumes, like a snake or a caveman. We also have to talk about the music in this game because there's a lot of it, 101 tracks, and one of the songs here is Sweet Victory, so I mean that's a giant plus already. So enter a portal and become all sorts of different SpongeBob variants when SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake comes out the 31st of January.
And there you have it, 8 exciting games coming to the Switch here in January. Are you picking any of these up, or are you waiting for February? Looking at you, Octopath Traveler 2. Well, let us know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, don't forget to summon that subscribe button and give it a little click. Stay safe, play some video games here in January, and I'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out.